Good evening. Hope you're having a great Saturday night. Welcome back to My View. Well, we heard rumblings back in 2016. The squad emerged in 2018. Their momentum built under a weak administration in 2020. And now, as we approach the 2026 midterms, the far left flank of the Democrat Party appears louder than ever. Their socialist policies threaten the foundation of America's economy, public safety, and common sense. And yet, the liberal embrace of the radical, the controversial, and the anti-establishment has become the center of the midterm conversation. It's up to Republicans to remind voters about the value of working hard, not endless handouts, the benefit of tax cuts instead of tax hikes, the importance of defending the Western way of life, both here in America and abroad. And it's up to moderate Democrats to either reject this hostile takeover or make the bold move to align with those who are actually preserving America's capitalist democracy for the next generation. It's a decision Senator Sen Fetterman is considering, and we sat down in Washington this week to talk about it. Thank you so much, Senator. Great to have you back on the show.
Well, thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, listen, you are such a voice of common sense, and one of the things you've been very vocal about are the concerns you have for this kind of radical faction that has kind of seeped into the Democrat Party. You've actually called out some of your colleagues for their support of folks like El Said in Michigan, Chevalier in New York. If you were speaking...
and also P. Hustle.
Yeah.
That was the big one. The guy in Maine.
Right.
You know, like someone like Sanders. Sanders really made his possible to win. And now he promoted him. And then after those terrible things start to emerge, defended that, pushed for, and now dismissed that. And then when it exploded, I've never heard him just say, well, maybe I should just sit this out.
Yeah, Graham
and now
Plattner,
he is going to, well, there he's on that screen. He's going to Michigan. Now they're going to try to elect someone that's been incredibly anti-Israel and essentially anti-American in a way. So socialism, you know, that should be the unacceptable view, you know, in the Democratic Party. We all should be capitalists, and we should all agree that supporting Israel, but for me, calling them out, there's also been kind of like a double standard. People, whether it's Sanders or other people, they're allowed to criticize Democrats, and they can even create mass chaos, like in the Maine race and other thing. But when I call out the extreme ones, then that's when I get the criticism, and I get that. What's more controversial, you know, like, why are you going on Fox? Or why are you going to support Israel? Like, that shouldn't be controversial. I'm going to have a conversation with anyone that's going to play it straight as you and Fox has. But now,
well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And let me ask you about that. You just brought up Israel, and we saw recently that a majority of the Democratic caucus voted to end billions of dollars of aid to Israel. You were not one of those votes to end the aid, of course. Do you anticipate kind of this anti-Israel wing of the party to continue to grow as we get closer to the midterm elections?
Yeah.
And do you think as well that the rise of these socialist-style candidates who are very openly anti-Israel is motivating this shift away from the Jewish state, or do you think that they are sort of the product of all of this?
Oh, that's been well underway. That's been well underway for a while. I mean, 2 years ago, I've said that actually it was July of 24. I was the only Democrat in my caucus that would interact and stand with the Prime Minister when he gave that joint address. And now I've said that I'm willing to be the last man standing, you know, in the caucus to stand through Israel. And I don't think anybody realized how extreme it would go, that the Gaza war would continue. And then last year, I was the only Democrat that supported the Midnight Hammer.
Right.
And I think that's a fantastic thing, to bomb their nuclear facilities. And if they were left alone, they could have built a nuclear bomb by now. So that's isolated me. But I don't know why, because that every Democrat that I'm aware of said Iran can't ever acquire a nuclear bomb. That's not an extreme view. Loving socialism that's an extreme view. Or if you think now you have personalities like Hassan Piker, where he shows up and does Democrat events in his Mao pajamas, and he's praising people like Mao, who is responsible for the death of 40 million Chinese. And more Democrats are embracing him.
You seem to be slightly alone in a lot of these views when it comes to your party. And you've actually threatened, Senator, to leave the Democratic Party if it continues to move further and further away from Israel. And you have Republicans like Senate Majority Leader John Thune ready to welcome you with open arms. Is this something you are still actually considering? And how long do you actually give your fellow Democrats to change their tune?
No, you know, I very much like Leader Thune on a personal level, and it's not like we haven't had a conversation, to be very clear, but you know, overall, yes, it is isolating, and now I hope there's not going to be another shutdown. Now that isolated myself in the caucus, refused to shut our government down. You know, we used to be the Democratic Party that would always refuse to shut our government down. I don't care what party's behind it. I'm always going to call it out, and it's the wrong thing. And if you do, the only one that loses is America, the government workers, and our reputation.
Well, I will say on behalf of many Republicans out there, I think we would love to have you as part of the Republican Party. I'm just throwing it out there, Senator.
I don't know if they would want me or not, but my whole families are Republican, and I think they love me.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
You know, maybe my dad's watching it. Well, but overall, you know, my criticism directed is at the extreme, and in my view, indefensible kinds of views, things. People that are winning the primaries, they are almost always anti-Israel and then anti-American, and they've been forced to delete all the outlandish things that they've said there. And then someone like Mandami, you know, could you imagine if I threatened to arrest someone that I don't like or disagree with? If you come to Pennsylvania, I'm going to, you know, have you arrested. Or claim that you know, I am able to say you're not welcome in Pennsylvania. It's, you know, like I've never said or done something outlandish, but he's done that. And then places like the New York Times have like normalized that and not really say that's completely inappropriate and stay in your lane, chief. You know, you're just a mayor. You're not in a position to talk about those
things. Well, now we see him backtrack on that quite a bit. I want to get to this, though. You've been both supportive of the strikes on Iran as well as voter ID. These are both hot-button topics, Senator, you know, amongst our legislators. What do you hear from your constituents on both of those points?
I mean, you know, I go everywhere. I do a lot of the shopping, and people will approach me, and it's almost uniformly very positive or appreciate that thing. And I can't really fully understand why. I mean, I've seen polling where why I'm so popular with Republicans. I don't really understand that, but I'm always going to treat both sides with respect, and we can agree on what we can, or we're going to disagree in a respectful way. And I'm not going to call people like you're a Nazi or you're a fascist or you're trying to destroy our democracy and use those things. So I call out what's unacceptable for me, whatever that party is. But I do think it's the responsibility for members of the party to police their own ranks.
Well, you do an incredible job at that. And we always appreciate you coming on with us, telling it like it is. And thank you for spending time with us today, Senator. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me back, Laura.
You got it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.